Good afternoon. My name is Veronica Weatherspoon, and I am the Math Specialist for Hearne ISD 2022-2023 school year. Our theme for this year is It's a Math Thing, because we know math is everywhere, every day, and we use it all the time. So our focus this year is to make sure our students have fun learning math. Today, I will talk with you about the STAR assessments, our blueprints, snapshots, and field guides, how we're supporting students, teachers, and parents as well. We'll look at our new curricula and some of the tools our students can use in order to be successful, and then we'll close it out. So again, I'm Veronica Weatherspoon. My email address is vshark@hearne.k12.tx.us, and you have my contact number as well on the screen. As far as our STAR assessments for the 2022-2023 school year, we're starting with the end in mind. And what do I mean by that? We want to make sure we focus in on knowing when our assessment dates are for the end of the school year, as well as we do have some retesters, and I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. So this document can be obtained from going to the Texas Education website. If you click on assessments, and you should be able to find this calendar. And the calendar indicates all of the testing dates, not only STAR, but there are some other dates in here as well. TELPAS, and then any other assessments that are important for this school year. So I sort of pulled out the assessment dates. So December the 6th through December the 16th, we have those students who will be retaking the end of course exams for Algebra 1, Biology, and U.S. History. These are students who did not successfully pass it over the summer or even the year before. So teachers are currently intervening and providing those students with the necessary instruction to pass that assessment in December. The other grade levels will take the STAR assessment May the 2nd through May the 12th. We have grades 3 through 8 math, EOC Algebra 1, and all of the other subjects, biology and U.S. history. On June the 20th through June the 30th, we'll have the end of course exams for Algebra 1, English 1, English 2, Biology, and U.S. history. And the summer assessment would be for those students who still have not passed either from the retest or in May. So those students will have another opportunity to take the assessment and pass it in June. Now, let me put in a little commercial here, because for those students who are taking the assessment December the 6th through December the 16th, they really need to focus in on passing during that time frame. They are still grandfathered under the old assessment format or design. But if they do not pass it in December, they're going to have to start taking it with the new STAR test redesign. And it's a whole different design setup and how students will have to engage in those questions. So we want to encourage them to go ahead and do their very best December the 6th through December the 16th. So I provided you with the website texasassessment.gov. If you go to that website, you can learn more about the STAR assessments. And this little link right here is a hot link, so you can click on it, and it should take you to this website. So what I did, I provided you with a couple of examples. To the left This was the Algebra 1 EOC 2021. This was a test item that I pulled from Algebra 1. And it says, which expression is equivalent to 36 x to the fourth, y to the fifth, all over 3xy to the second power for all values of x and y where the expression is defined. So in the past, and even in December, if students have this type of test item, they might end up having to, like they've done in the past, select either A, B, C, D, or F, G, H, J. In this case, they have to select F, G, H, or J. And it was real easy for those students to pull out the calculator. We, showed them all these different strategies, pull out the calculator, put this in, and then hit enter, and you get the correct answer. And all you have to do is bubble in the correct letter. Versus now, this is a sample test item. It's not the same problem, but it's still the where they have to simplify the expression. But if you look at the directions, it says enter your answer in the space provided. So it's not saying select an alphabet, you have to actually know how to work this problem out, and then you have to know how to use these tools at the bottom. So knowing how to work the problem out, you know that you're going to have a fraction. So students have to know that this symbol here represents a fraction, a numerator over a denominator. And even in addition to that, once you click and you get your fraction, you have to know what the exponents are, using those rules for exponents, whether you're going to have an exponent, a numerator, or a denominator for X, Y, and Z. But you have to know how to use these keys here in addition to the numbers. So that is we are rehearsing them over, practicing them over, showing them how to use these new tools now that for the new STAR redesign test. So I'm just going to leave it there for a few seconds. So this 26 versus this problem here, that is a big difference, a huge difference. We also have what we call blueprints, and it's just like a blueprint for a house. We have a blueprint, what we're going to follow here to build the stamina in our students so they can be successful in math. So this blueprint, and these are things that, we don't want to hide from anyone. Parents need to know what's on the assessment. Students need to know, as well as our teachers already know. But these blueprints show the distribution of questions, how many questions, what the point values are, the standards that they're supposed to know, the readiness and supporting across the reporting categories on the redesigned test. And notice I said redesigned test. So here's the third grade blueprint. And if you notice, it says preliminary, and that is because at the beginning of the school year, they were still finalizing them, and now the actual blueprints are available. So you can go to that Texas education website under assessments again, and you'll find the blueprints. So let's just look at a few of these. You have the reporting categories, and if you notice, for third grade math, there are 4 reporting categories. Reporting category 1, numerical representations and relationships. Category 2, computations and algebraic relationships. Category 3, geometry and measurement. Category 4, data analysis and personal financial literacy. And then to the right of it, it has the number of standards that are tested, readiness 4, supporting 10, and then and this is reporting category 1. I won't go through each one of these. The number of questions, 7 to 9 questions from category 1, and then the number of point values, 10 to 12 points for that category. And then bottom line, total, you have 30 questions for third grade math, and you have 37 points total that students can obtain for the third grade math assessment. And then at the bottom, these are little links that you can click on, especially the redesign resources. That's a good one to visit. And then the fourth grade math blueprint, again, we have 4 categories. These are your supporting and readiness number standards. You have the number of questions and then the number of points for each category. Bottom line total for fourth grade math, the STAR assessment, that will be 32 questions and 40 points that students can obtain. For fifth grade math, we have 4 categories. Here are your number of standards for each category: reporting, supporting, and readiness, the number of questions, and then the number of points. So bottom line for fifth grade math, there will be a total of 34 questions and students can earn up to 42 points. For sixth grade math, we have 4 categories. Here are our number of standards, the number of questions for each category, and the number of points for each category. Bottom line total, we have 36 questions for sixth grade math and 43 points that students can earn or obtain for the sixth grade math assessment. Then our seventh grade math, and notice when you look at the bottom line here, these numbers are going up. So we still have 4 categories. These are the readiness and supporting, number of standards, number of questions, the number of points. And if you look at seventh grade math, we have a total of 38 questions and a student can earn up to 46 points. So those numbers are going up. The number of questions and the number of points are going up. Eighth grade math, we have 4 categories: number of standards, number of questions, and the number of points. Bottom line total, we have 40 questions for 8th grade math, and a student can earn up to 48 points. And finally, for Algebra 1, notice we have 5 categories. 5. The number of standards, the number of questions, and the number of points. And on the Algebra 1 total, we have 50 questions. So it went from like 30 to 36 to 38 for some, 34. But for Algebra 1, we have 50 questions and students can earn up to 59 points. So real key and very important, if you locate this document and study, at least know the categories and how many questions are coming from each category. And even when we look at Algebra 1, you can see that we have more questions coming from categories 2 and 3. This is where we get hit the most, right up in here. So we really need to spend a lot of time on category 2, where we're graphing linear functions, equations, and inequalities, and then writing and solving linear functions, equations, and inequalities as well. So these are what we call our blueprints. So I found this quote by Martin Luther King Jr., and it says, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively, underline that, to think intensively, and to think critically. Intelligence plus character," I like the word character, "that is the goal of true education." So again, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, you have to have that character. That is the goal of true education. Another resource or resources that our teachers use, parents, that you do have access to as well, are the snapshots and field guides. So these snapshots give us more information about the standards. And then the field guys drill down and give us more information about the vocabulary, some of the misconceptions that students have. But it's still good for our parents to look at these documents as well, so that way you can provide some additional support. So I'm just going to open up one of the snapshots for, let's do fourth grade math, so you can see how it looks. All right, and this is the snapshot, and snapshot means just a snippet of. So what it does, it gives us, it also tells us how many items we're going to have to the far left on star, but it really talks about the readiness versus the supporting standards. And our readiness standards, they weigh more on our assessments, so it's real important that our students know all of these. And we'll look at one example, so that way you'll know how to read it. 4.4a, the 4 here in front of this period means fourth grade. And then the standard 4a, it says add and subtract whole numbers and decimals to the hundreds place using the standard algorithm. So parents, you can learn a whole lot just by looking. It says add and subtract whole numbers and decimals to the hundreds place. So, you can find examples to help us reinforce what these skills that we're trying to teach. And then over here, some of our supporting standards are just as important as our readiness standards. Here's one, 4.6a, that's fourth grade, 6a, identify points, lines, line segments, rays, angles, and perpendicular and parallel lines. So that's important. And again, you can help us by finding examples to each one of these terms. And that way, when they get in the classroom, they're a little more familiar with it. And then, it helps to make it easy for the child to understand what the teachers are saying. All right, so we have snapshots for third grade through even Algebra 2. So again, those are available on the website. And these are hot links, so you can click on any of these and those snapshots will pop up. And then we have field guides. These field guides, I have a fourth grade sample here, and then you have others here that you can pull up. So if we look at this sample here, what does it show us? And they are long documents because they have information for every standard. So if this is fourth grade math, you have 4.2D, and it tells you it's a supporting standard. It identifies the standard. Stimulus, these are things that you can use or that the teachers uses in the classroom to reinforce what they're trying to teach regarding this standard. Here's your vocabulary, some other items, role in concept development, some of the misconceptions that students have that can be identified and provided. And then it goes on to another TEK or standard, same type of setup. Tells the standard, the stimulus, what can you use to teach the student at standard, some of the misconceptions, vocabulary, and other items. So this is just one sample. And they, like I said, they're very long because they go through every standard for that particular grade level. And this is math again. So I found another quote. I like this one as well. You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. And this is Miss Shirley Chisholm. You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines. So we can't stand on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. We need to implement ideas. Very profound statement. So students, don't be standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. And that goes for me too, any of us. we need to implement ideas. So, and our students have very good ideas. I listen to them talk, and we just need to put them in action. On this next slide, we talk about support for our students, teachers, and parents. So how do we support our students? We have what we call the blended learning program at each grade level, where teachers are given instruction, and that instruction is being reinforced by technology. For Eureka Math, we have, this is a new curriculum for K through 5th grade. They also have a technology program that they're using with that curriculum. Carnegie Math or Carnegie Learning, the curriculum is reinforced by Mathia. They're both aligned to each other. You probably hear your children talking about Mathia, and for other teachers who are in other subjects, I'm sure you hear the students talking about Mathia. It's a very, very good program. It is self-paced. Students take a diagnostic, and then it goes through, and oh man, the lessons are very engaging as well as interactive. So students might have to move a line from one place to the other, or move an object from one place to another using the technology that they have. Hands-on activities, Carnegie, I really like the Carnegie curriculum because it provides students with all types of hands-on activities, whether they're doing it one-on-one or with the group, or if they're doing it with the teacher. And Eureka Math is laid out the same way. Pull-outs, we're pulling out students where we need to and when we need to provide intervention, small group instruction, student-to-student interaction. And with our new curricula, talk to talk is part of the curriculum, where students have to engage with their peers. So the interaction is very promising, because when they get out in the world, they need to learn how to, right now, learn how to work with other people, because the real world out there, people are working on projects, so they have to work in a team. So we're trying to give them that experience right now through our curricula. After school tutorials, the math intervention classes at all grade levels, even at the high school, we have the intervention classes built into the master schedule. Saturday tutorials, they have not started yet, but that will be another means of students getting that support they need. And then calculators, where applicable, in most cases it's 8th grade through high school, but we do have some students using them in other lower grade levels as well. And they're using mainly the basic 4-function calculator. The upper level grade students are using graphing calculators. Some of our teacher support, of course, we have the Texas Education website that is accessible to our teachers. The field guides that we talked about in the earlier slides, the blueprints as well, snapshots. Another website is the texasassessment.gov, and parents, you also have access to that. And there are practice problems that students can go ahead and access now to get ready for this new STAR redesign. So that's accessible to students, parents, as well as teachers. Then our PLCs, professional learning communities, where we meet with the administrators and teachers, and we mainly talk about, our data and where we need to intervene with our students. Walkthroughs, coaching, mentor-mentee relationships, teacher instructional leadership program, specialists and coaches, and we have a bucket with Carnegie Math supplies and materials. And this was something new that I did this year, where I went ahead and ordered all of the supplies and materials that teachers needed to support them with the Carnegie Math. So, our teachers spent a lot of money going out, buying things, but I feel like if we could get this done before school starts, they will already have what they need, and that'll help them with their planning. As far as our parental support, we have parent-teacher conferences, Parent Connect, also the Eagle check-in, that's on Fridays at noon, where, you know, you're listening to me now via Eagle check-in. So it's a good thing because you're receiving information about our programs and our initiatives for this year, and things that will support your child, our students, your children. And then we have Math Family Fun Nights. This is going to be something scheduled for this year where the children and parents can get together and work out some problems together. And we'll have door prizes, but that is to come. And then Carnegie Math parent information sheets for each topic, English and Spanish. We're trying to provide those either through Schoology or the website. And then parents, again, you have access to the texasassessment.gov website. So please, please, when you have time, go to that website and look at some of those problems that our students are being asked to solve. And then give them a chance to work through some of the problems with you. As Nelson Mandela says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And that is such a profound statement. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And because we want our students to be able to help change the world, we're providing them with education that we need them to get so they can make an impact in this world. So education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. As far as our math curricula, we're using Eureka Math, Carnegie Learning, and Algebra 2. That's the Houghton Mifflin textbook. For Eureka Math, kindergarten through 5th grade, we have students have access to this hard copy. So we do have the books as well as they have access to it on their Chromebooks. So there are no excuses for our students not to be able to work on these lessons and to be successful. The same with Carnegie Learning, Carnegie Math, 6th grade through geometry. They have their own workbooks, as well as these lessons are accessible on their Chromebooks. So please, please, no excuses. They have access to all of this. And then the same with Algebra 2 textbook, as well as they should be able to access that as well on the computer. So those are the math curricula for Hearne ISD, Eureka Math, Carnegie Learning, Carnegie Math, and the Algebra 2 Houghton Mifflin book. Carnegie Math and Mathea. Carnegie Math was piloted last year at 7th, 8th, and Algebra 1 junior high levels last year. This school year, we're using Carnegie Math at grade level 6 through geometry. Algebra 2 is still using Teaks Resource, Scope, and Sequence. For Carnegie Math and Eureka Math, we're using at least for Carnegie Math, we're using a 150-day pacing guide as opposed to the 180-day pacing guide that we used last year. And we were glad that Carnegie Learning gave us those options. It was either 180, 165, or 150, but because we were starting with the end in mind, we knew that we needed to get all of the standards covered, taught before May the 2nd, which is the first day that we can start our STAR assessments. So we're using a 150-day pacing guide, and parents, you do have access to those pacing guides. Pacing calendars were created for grades, well, actually all of our grade levels, but with the Carnegie Math and Eureka Math for grades 6 through geometry, as well as K through 5. we created the pacing calendars as well as for Algebra 2. And what that does, what we do is we take the district school calendar and we align our pacing guide with for Carnegie and Eureka Math with our school calendar. So like holidays, we don't want to include the days from Carnegie or Eureka Math on the holidays. So we have to plan around the holidays and even assessment dates or any other days that we know we're not going to get that instruction. We did have training for Carnegie Math August the 9th and 10th, and we do have 4 virtual and in-person sessions remaining for this school year. So that will be some additional support for our teachers and staff. And Carnegie Math is available all year, anytime we need them. Our Carnegie Math platform, we have modules, then topics, then lessons. We have mid-topic assessments, end of topic. I know the 7th grade math students are taking the end of topic assessment today as we speak. So we've already told them we need 100%. Everybody, they really are good students. Really are good students over there at that junior high and everywhere in our district. But I've been working closely with 7th and 8th grade. Then we have our skills practice or Mathia. And remember, Mathia is our technology program. And then we have our parent information guides for each topic that we are sharing. So this is a sample of the 150-day pacing guide. So let me just show you how that looks right quick. And we'll look at Algebra 1. And you can see here's the 180-day pace, and this is what we used last year. And we really felt we were pressed. I know the teacher got to the end of it, but it was still pressing. Then they have 165-day pacing, but we chose the 150-day so that way we could be assured that we get all of the standards covered, the lessons taught before May the 2nd. That end of mind, that's the day with the end of mind. We're thinking of that. So let me just click on one of these, Module 2, Topic 2. So this is how the pacing guide looks, and you'll notice at the top, it has Texas Algebra 1, Module 2, Topic 2, Pacing Guide, 150-day pacing guide. So it gives the title of the module, title of the topic, any of the ELPs, English language proficiencies. And here are the lessons to the far left. So there are 3 lessons in this for this particular module and topic. And for each lesson, you have the lesson title, the highlights of the lesson, the TEK or TEKs, and then how many days you're supposed to spend on that lesson. So that's why it's real important for our students to come into those classrooms prepared and already ready to learn, because the curriculum gives us how many days we're supposed to spend on each one of those lessons. So we don't have any time to waste in those classrooms. And this is just another way of looking at the pacing guide. The days, the activities, and end of topic, Mathia days, and et cetera, et cetera. Everything is really laid out. I really do like Carnegie Learning. I really do. All right. So we have the pacing guides for grades for Carnegie for grades 6 through geometry. And then Eureka Math also has the pacing guides for K through 5. So we are good to go. And some of the tools we use for helping our students to be successful, they have the Chromebooks, we have desktops, tablets. We do have the Inspire and TI-84 Plus calculators. Plus we have the 4-function calculators for those who do not need the graphing calculators. We have all types of manipulatives. I'm in a room now full of math manipulatives. So we have everything we need in order for our students to be successful. And then websites. So I gave you a host of websites, especially at texasassessment.gov. That is one that you can really find a lot of resources on. So I'm gonna leave you with this final quote at the end. And I'm saying end in mind. But when you've worked hard and done well and walked through that doorway of opportunity, you do not slam it shut behind you. You reach back and you give other folks the same chances that help you succeed. So those students who have been successful in, and I'm talking about the algebra 1 students, the high school students, you know, when you've been successful in reaching the 12th grade or 11th grade, then don't forget about those who are behind you. So if you see somebody struggling in Algebra 1, trying to retake the Algebra 1 test, you've already passed it. So you need to reach back and help that student out. Same with the lower grades, you know, high school students. If you have an opportunity, I'm at the elementary school. So come to the elementary school and find out if you can take a student, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, pre-K, whatever grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and spend some time mentoring them. You know, possibly, may I read a book to them or taking out some flashcards? Let's see if you know your multiplication tables. So we cannot forget about those who are behind us once we are successful. So I'm gonna read this again. When you've worked hard and done well and walked through that doorway of opportunity, you do not slam it shut behind you. You reach back and you give other folks the same chances that help you succeed. And that's by Michelle Obama. That's a beautiful quote. So I'm gonna leave you with that quote. And just remember not to leave anybody behind. So I want to thank you for this time. If you have any questions, you do have my email address as well as my phone number. And I would love to talk to you. We want everybody to be successful in our district, every child. We want all of our teachers and staff members to be successful. So we can all do this together. Thank you again.